You should have a copy of your October 28th minutes. If you could take time to read them. If you have any questions, let us know. I don't have blue, do you care? Any questions? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to financials.
The cash on hand of district maintenance on October 31st was $3,553,615.36. The fund balance was $3,740,696.06. The auditors have finished their part, and it's to them doing the financial statement part. So hopefully they'll get done with that this week, and then we'll go to the state auditor's office, and then they'll have, there's always something they really want them to reword something. They don't change anything, but they want to change and to thee or omit this word is, anyway, they'll go back for us, so hopefully they'll have the actual audited financial statements to y'all by the next board meeting. It's really gonna be dependent upon OSA.
Okay, you'll move on to the claims docket.
I added those 5 plants at the end, AT&T, Ceasefire, Go Builder, which is robotics, and Oxfordshire. That Institution of Compliance Solutions, that is for Title IX online training. The Taylor bus sales, they actually delivered the bus today. I went ahead and put it on the docket. We knew it was coming, we just didn't know when it was coming, so that way I could have the check, and I was just gonna hold it, but Greg did receive the bus today and approved paying for it, so we'll pay for it. There's several from Best Snacks in Mississippi. That's for the band concession stands, annual staff, and over at the elementary school where they have a little snack shack over there as well. And that Young Law Group, that is for the interest-free loan we had that we're paying through the 3 mil note. They do all the paperwork to get the interest reimbursed for us. Because we pay that interest, we did that at the last one, we pay the interest to Bank Plus, and then the IRS, Department of Treasury, mails us a check back for the interest that we paid. And there's paperwork to be done, and we've always had them do it to make sure it's done correctly and we get the money back. And that Bliss Products and Service, that's the grant that we've had for a while. I can't remember the exact name of it. It's BSCA, but I can't remember the exact.
That's back, yes, BAC.
Yeah. That's the playground equipment, the new playground equipment that we wrote the grant for. And so we'll, of course, we write them a check, and then I'll draw the money down and get reimbursed for it next month.
And they're both done. You go down there at recess, it's like every kid is on the jam department, so it's enjoying it.
Any questions about the claims docket? Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor of the motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to public comments. Am I right on?
Thanks.
Got anything, mate?
We'll call you back.
No, you can stay for a while.
Once you get down the road.
Thank you.
Say more.
I see.
No public comments. Moving on to 5.2, Water Valley High School update.
Just no benchmark updates, just your third page on there is gonna be your discipline, things like that, attendance. So we, again, we don't have to do this for the high school, but I think it's good that just to, you ought to see what our numbers look like every month.
What Joseph
Eating dinner.
moving around. I've cut you down because you're making a loud racket, but you don't have to.
I had to split it up for benchmark purposes, high school and junior high, and then the third page, both of them combined.
Well, it's just a dramatic drop in absences.
Well, there's been a dramatic drop in a percentage of students with 2 or more absences. I don't know why. I know last time we had a board meeting late,
Oh, yours hadn't been that much going on.
but we had a week off too, so,
Yeah.
I don't know, we had a bunch of,
We have had a lot of sickness.
yeah, so I think
And
last
strep-
month probably got
strep's going
hit.
around,
Right.
so we had.
And we're only 2
Pick
weeks
back
into
up.
this month, so
Okay.
I think that week off may have probably
Mhm.
helped out, it looks like.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Moving on to 5.3, DES update.
Same thing, elementary noted benchmark averages, attendance and things of that nature. It's on the second page. And this is the one that I have to upload, do the TSI designation. We don't have our allocation yet, it'll be the next couple of weeks probably. You know how much we get for school improvement, but it'll be $45,000 probably.
Did we just start tracking this in October? That's why we only see October, November.
Yes, that's when it's required, is October, November. We didn't know if we were going to be on school improvement or not until October.
I'm just curious about our total school enrollment, which seems to be trending down. You know, it's not
We
huge.
lost a few students, and I know we lost 2 or 3 last week at elementary school. I think we lost some at the high, I don't know where they went, but we are getting some more students. And we got one today. So it's kind of an ebb and flow.
Mhm.
Any other questions for DES update? Moving on to 5.4, out-of-state travel request.
This is for, Mr. Barnes is asking permission just to go to Tuscaloosa. Anytime you go to state, you gotta get permission to the ACT Summit Conference of Southeastern States. And I usually go every year, but I can't go this year, so he's gonna go. Get a lot of good updates, kind of get to take your data and compare it to others and kind of game plan and things like that. A lot of stuff coming down through career and college readiness as well that would be beneficial for him to go to that. And y'all just have to approve it. Attend the conference out of state.
Any questions about that? Any discussion?
Will we hear what he learned? Or
Sure.
how's he going to share that? with
Yeah,
you?
I can have him come next board meeting and talk about it.
I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
That's
It's really a good conference. It is just right there at the University of Alabama, right there in the middle of everything, so it's good.
So do I have a motion to accept the out-of-state professional development request?
So moved.
So I have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Motion to accept. I just really said that wrong. All in favor of the motion Except by saying aye. I don't know why I'm got all tongue tied, I say this all the time. Any opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to 5.5 donation.
This is a $2,500 anonymous grant for the TBA Community Care Matching Grant. It's anonymous, so the person, we appreciate the person so much, they do so much for us, and they want it to remain anonymous. So thank you, anonymous person.
So you need a motion to accept the donation. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor, motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to 5.6, chat move.
It's a chart memorandum of understanding with the Mississippi Department of Health. It's just our memorandum of understanding, which we have to jointly work with them. Have them come in and work with our students, and they come in and they work with our special populations kids. Take them work on job skills with them and things like that. So there's a number of things that they do, but we have to have this memorandum of understanding.
So has it been changed in recent years, or is it the same each
I
year?
think it's just a 3-year agreement, July 24th through, 2026. So every 2 years you have to have an agreement. And usually they're a little behind on stuff. And they should have gotten it in July, but that's fine.
You need us to accept it?
Yes, and then I'll get Justin to sign it whenever he's around, and we'll fax it back to him.
I think he said it'd be back tomorrow. Any questions? I need a motion to accept the chart.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's hard for me to write, think, talk to, just so you know.
I'm using this,
You're doing good, you're doing good.
look, I'm using this blog note.
Oh, are you
It's
using
AI
it? Kathy, we're halfway. I'm fine. I just,
Yeah.
my mind's like,
We'll see what kind of minutes it gives us after this tonight.
awesome. So did you set up anything ahead of time, or just?
It just doesn't know who we are right now, but
Okay.
it'll learn our voices as we,
Gotcha, cool.
as we get.
Moving on to 5.7, IDEA assurances.
This was just our federal insurance, just saying that we're following all our IDA policies as we are required to do. Saying we're spending the money the way we're supposed to be spending it, following, all applicable laws and things of that nature.
5.8, IDEI budget.
That is our IDEA budget for this school year. Just have to approve it.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it in the packet, but maybe I just missed it.
Do you have your agenda?
I'm in the agenda currently. I see the IDEA assurance.
5.8.
I'm
Well,
on
that's supposed to
page-
say what page is it on? 'Cause
I'm on page
73.
70. Oh, it's out. Oh, I see.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
another,
It was a signature page. I
yeah,
didn't-
your signature page.
Thank you. I appreciate your patience. I'm sorry, I really thought that was all one thing.
It's another drop down.
Do you know why the allocation for preschool is so much lower than pages, well, like on page, it says 3 of 38, but it's page 75. It's talking, it says, average allocation for eligible child for, maybe it shows the difference between Part B and preschool.
Yeah, so you're talking about IDA, Part B, ages 3 to 21, preschool 35.
Okay.
So we have, so preschool, I know we have one student that's eligible for services, so it wouldn't pay for every student.
Okay.
It would only pay for students who are IDA eligible.
I got
I think we may have two.
Pre-K.
I think I know one, so I think that's what that's gonna be anyway. That's gonna be, it won't pay for regular preschool services.
I got you. Okay. Thank you, that's all.
Which is me also, like a lot of our
You there?
kids first, not kids first, but first start students.
Okay,
They're
fine.
probably up
Put you
under
back.
different.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Any other questions you want to wait a bit? You didn't just make a motion on the budget?
You have to approve it.
I assume so, I just want to make sure.
There hasn't been much shift from this year to last year.
No.
From last year to this
It's
year.
mainly, most of the money is spent on teachers' assistants
Mhm.
and, software and things like that. So that's kind of how we pay the sped director out of it, pay our teachers' assistants,
Mhm.
software, that's basically what it is.
I'm curious because this is the subgroup for which we're on TSI, is that right?
That's correct.
So my curiosity is if that's what we have been doing and we're still on TSI, is that going to get us off of that list by doing the same thing that we've been doing? Or should we think about how we're allocating those resources to support that subgroup of students?
Right. We did get additional funding, when we did change that last year. So before, we were bringing in outside consultants to do
Mhm.
work with our special education students at the elementary school. It worked at the high school, we got off TSI that way, but we weren't seeing the results at the elementary school.
Yeah.
So this year we changed that and we hired a specific TA that would work only with our identified subgroup. So we're giving that a shot this year.
Okay.
So yes, we did adjust, we punted.
Yeah.
It didn't work out like we wanted to.
I thank you for answering that.
Mhm.
It feels important.
Yeah, you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
If it's not doing what we're hoping that it's doing, then we should not do it. Or do something different.
Yeah, try something else.
And then is there a way for us to see in year how that, like what we see now, so at the end of the year, you can see the breakdown, the disaggregated breakdown. Is there a way to see what our in-year progress is
Or
with subgroups?
Sure, yeah, I can get that to you. It takes a little, we'll get it to you after the second benchmark.
Yeah, I think at each benchmark, if we can kind of see that, then we can make sure that when we say like, yeah, we should spend money doing that, it's doing the thing we think that it should do,
And
right?
also, on the state website, it has the gap analysis already done.
For benchmarks?
Right.
Well,
For the
for
math
our-
assessments.
To kind of see if it tracks whether we are closing the gap or the gap is expanding.
Mhm. For in year or
That's
just?
the end year, like we talked about. I
Okay.
think we should do something like that at the
Okay.
end of, after math assessments, I think we got a breakdown
Okay,
of, I gave you a demographic breakdown as to where we were, as
Mhm.
where each subgroup was and how,
yeah.
as opposed to state average. We can do that after every benchmark if you want to do that.
I just think it's important.
It's
so we
good,
can kind of
yeah.
see what's happening and keep an eye on
Sure,
it.
yeah, we can do that.
Thank you, that would make me feel more confident.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept the IDEA budget?
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeremy, do I have a second?
Second.
second by Rodney. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to 5.9, 2025 Water Valley School District Professional Development Plan.
Susie. The one that did all
Did you have any
all
questions?
the work on.
We started as a committee before school started, looking at our data. I attended a workshop when school started, so that's one reason why the plan is so late. Because MDE offered a professional development on how to write these plans. And so once I attended that, we had to wait on our data, because the committee had pretty much looked at our previous data, looked at some of our other data, and then we kind of determined that we wanted where we wanted our students to grow. Because what you do is you look at where do you want your students to grow, and then once you look at where you want your students to grow, what standard from the progressive PGS or professional growth system do you use to target the teacher to get them to grow in? So our two biggest ones were, we wanted to show growth of our proficiency, and then we wanted to show growth of all of our students, which is based off of our accountability model. And so the educator goal was making meaning of content as measured. You know, in other words, we wanted them to understand the content that was being taught, be more effective teachers up under the content. And then we also wanted them to look at how they could align their assessments with what they were teaching, because we felt that was an important thing to really track the proficiency of our students and the growth of our students.
Basically, it's a 3-year plan.
It's a 3-year plan.
How we're gonna, and a lot of times I think we look back over it this summer, and a lot of the goals were unattainable. So you want to make sure you have SMART goals, right? And the A in SMART goals is attainable. So we want to look at something that we can logically, and we think we can, but you don't want to set your goals so high that when you come back and you say, I failed. You gotta make incremental steps,
So when we started looking at the proficiency, we actually looked at the number of students that we would be targeting to growth, instead of just looking at that 41%. And looked at 41% of, okay, this is how many students that are actually tested at the high school, 200 and something. And then these are the actual numbers that are tested at the elementary school, 300 and something. So we looked at that percentage to kind of gauge a number to those students.
So how often will you look to see where you are and you're going?
Well, actually, we were supposed to look at it this month, in November, but we were going to get it approved and then come back and look at it after benchmark assessments.
There's updates, there's board updates that I give you that has those percentages in there. So we'll sit down and I'll share them with Lucy, and we can sit down as a group, and she can sit down with her committee, and they can kind of track their goals based on those benchmarks. And we'll have another round coming up here, gosh, in just about a month, so.
So the first of the year probably?
We'll have them during Christmas break.
Okay.
So, yeah, first of the year.
And this is strictly based on academic achievement? It's
Math,
not
yes, ma'am.
cultural?
No, when MDE wants you to do the professional development plan, it still wants performance numbers, accountability numbers, so that's kind of what we have to do. And I see what you're saying, like, if you do like a needs survey or like a student survey, just measure, the percentage of students who feel safe at school as opposed to the percentage of students who feel, things like that, what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that might be more a part of our strategic
Mhm.
planning work and ways we're gonna measure some of that stuff. But I wanted to make sure that's not something we would include here, because there could be something.
And that was a hard question that I asked. There was another group, Senatobia was there presenting at Massa, and another group that had brought in somebody else. They were measuring these things. They were measuring, culture. They were measuring
Mhm.
things like that. And my question to them was, okay, they had things on the left, they had test scores, attendance, graduation rate,
Mhm.
discipline measures, and they had other stuff on this side. I said, well, how are you? I said, the reason that everybody fixates on that is because those things that data is easily monitored.
Mhm.
The things on the right, what data piece you're using to monitor those, and they're like, well, we're still working on that, so it's something I'm kind of been there about when they get their
Metrics.
metrics, when they get their, whatever they're using to measure that, I'm like,
And we did look at the teacher information from the needs assessment from the federal program, based off of
Yep.
what the teachers were saying that they needed.
Mhm.
We did not do a student assessment, we just kind of looked at the data.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to, like he was saying, basically start small and then evolve.
Mhm.
Something we can actually track.
That's good.
Any other questions on the professional development plan? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
I have a motion by Catherine, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to 5.10, adopt and revise school board policy, section C.
Does anybody have any questions? We've kind of looked at those, and I will say, just from all of them, we did pull out some of the policies that we're going back, and they're not included, so I sent out an email to the administrators about one particular policy, wanting their input. After this meeting and I update, I'll send out the next policies, which will be F and G. But then we're going to go back and revisit D, some on D and E. I think that's right. So, and the reason why there are 4 sections, but you only got 3, is because I ended up scanning 5.11, the adopt and revise, the annual legislative updates with the school board policies amended by House Bill 4130. And that bill is just basically saying, we're changing a lot of the wording from that formula to that, what was it? What was the name of the formula?
Oh my gosh, we're not.
funny.
It's not adequate.
We moved it from the AAP to the, they call it some formula. But that's in the
Total
wording.
working formula.
That's in the wording of all of them. So that's why they are put in as separate, but they were scanned together. So you just got them all, but I separated them within the scan if you look at all of it.
I know Catherine and I've looked at them. Any other questions? Have y'all had time to look at them? Y'all are good? So I need a motion to accept, adopt and revise the school board policies of section C.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to 5.11, adopt and revise annual legislative updates.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor of the motion by saying aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Moving on, 5.12, rescind to receive school board policies amended by HB 4130.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so let me ask one question on these. On that section C, that was one that's been before the board really twice.
Right.
So are we actually finished with that one?
I
Okay,
think
Yes.
so.
okay. But these other ones, are we tabling those, or are we gonna go ahead and accept them? Those-
We have to table them if we haven't
Okay,
seen them.
so those two will be tabled, yes.
Lost track of
The
that.
5.11 and 5.12 will be tabled. But the other one, that C will be accepted. That's approved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Hold my horses.
So,
I said I gotta hold my horses.
Moving on to number 6, board members report.
Lovely time with the MSBA. Dr. Jackson came and spent some time with us. Ms. Lipsy was here, and Tanya and Jeremy and I believe. But she kind of walked through what the MSBA can offer for strategic planning. I found it really enlightening. It was very helpful to hear, for me, to hear from her, to have a visual, to kind of talk through what that could look like. I sent y'all an email. She promised to follow up with us. There were some things she wanted us to decide. One was, when would they come back next? One was about the structure of how we will engage with the community as we build our plan, and other constituents. And then we need to decide also who those people will be, once we have that kind of figured out. But I asked her to send kind of a menu and all the slides so everybody could see where we were. She sent it, I've asked her again today, and she sent it to me at 6:30. So I sent it to y'all right before this meeting. You're welcome to take a look at it in your email now if you want to. But perhaps, does it make sense to think about tactical dates for January for her to come back first, and then we can talk about how we want to engage the community. And I can share the sort of menu of options, and then we can be thinking before our December meeting, who all would want to be on the steering committee of that work. Does that sound
That
okay?
sounds,
So the dates that she has available, if y'all want to synchronize your watches, are January 13th, January 14th, January 17th, January 21st, and January 27th, and January 28th.
And we discussed maybe providing breakfast or lunch or something that day for the different groups that are meeting. Of those, the 17th is a Friday.
Oh, it's the holiday weekend that weekend too.
That one is.
the 20th is.
The 20th is Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
The 27th and the 28th will be at Mass. You said she's wearing a mask, wear a mask. So, I won't be here for that, but I can be here.
I mean, if you need me to go.
I think it's on Friday.
I signed up for it
Well, that's
already.
on, why can't we do the 17th?
We can, it's just the Friday before our holiday weekend.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking, Monday is hard for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're talking about serving lunch Friday, more people might be available.
Right, but I was thinking Monday was hard for business people to get here, be here, or 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wide open.
On a Monday. That'd be hard for a lot of people to leave their business and come here on a Monday morning. So I thought Mondays are not the best day of the week.
You said Tuesday the
Having
14th.
surgery on the 30th of December, so I'm not sure.
14th is Tuesday.
When I'm gonna be, available, so.
Try the
Depending on how I
14th.
feel.
Do what?
The 17th works for me.
That's a
It
Friday.
gives you a little
During
bit
the day.
more time.
Which one's
Well,
Friday?
The 17th.
Right.
Why don't we hold the 17th? Okay. I will let her know that that's our preferred date, and then we can work out more about the logistics time and what that will look like for them.
So Joseph, we're speaking about January the 17th, of Friday, for our next meeting with Dr. Jackson. Are you there? I think I'm on hold.
You might
I
be
mean, he's got me
muted.
muted, yeah. There he is. Okay. All right, well, tentatively, we'll mark down the 17th.
And then the next question she was curious about is, would we like to involve stakeholders like administrators, educators, parents, business and community members, students? She said on average, districts have had a committee of people that do this. It could just be the board, but we could include other folks.
I think it'd be best to get a mix of everyone that's involved, all stakeholders, instead of just board members if we can.
She said 30 would be the most she would recommend, which was kind of shocking to me that you'd have 30, but the majority, she normally have 30, she's telling us.
Yeah.
So we
Pretty
thought that was
big
kind of
group.
high, but that's a big group.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have to all meet together.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin and I talked after the meeting. I would want to be in all the meetings because I think as the board, we would want the other community members and the business members to know that we're invested. We don't want to not be a part of it. So I think if we're not there, it makes it look like we don't want to be a part of it or something. So, but now she
says you might get better.
You might get better response if we
You
wasn't
might get
around.
better input if the board wasn't there, so I can see both sides.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a couple of ways. For the committee, I think we would all the committee members would meet together, and that to me is a lot of visibility and makes a lot of sense. But I wonder if, my understanding of what she was talking about when it was like just MSBA and a constituent group was like a focus group kind of. So teachers would come, they'd kind of have a focus group, then they would gather all the data and synthesize it and then say, well, according to the group of teachers we talked to, here are the things that are important. Or according to the group of students we talked to, here are the things that are important. And I could see that, like if they were running focus groups, I could see not being a part of it then. But I wouldn't want to run any planning stuff, like making decisions or gathering input on a plan without us too. So it sounds like we're down for a committee.
I'm for that.
That's, okay. I'll let her know that. And then she wondered how we would like to get involved stakeholders. So if that could be only through the committee, we could do a committee and we could send surveys. We could do both of those things. We could have focus groups and surveys that they run. So I don't know.
We usually get pretty good results when we do our surveys. When we send them out to federal programs and things like that. So definitely, if you want to do both, it wouldn't hurt to get some face-to-face input as well as survey.
And we mentioned the one that we've done in the past year, that we need to bring it back up and we need to look at it again. Because I feel like I think there were some things on there that might have been beneficial in my mind that we could address and look at and see if we might need to implement some of that.
So it sounds like both things.
I like both things.
That sounds okay. And then the last question is, how many days would the board like in person facilitation by MSBA? She said 4 has been the average number with districts that MSBA has worked with.
So that's how many days of what now?
Like live and in person, and they're here for the whole day, so they try to stack it up and like make it as pack as big a punch as possible for the amount of time that they're here.
I mean, I wouldn't have any idea how much time it would require. I would not say whatever she recommends.
I don't know. We could start with 4.
We could start more. I think we said that night that, we really
We'd already
didn't
kinda
know
take it,
yet. We
yeah.
need to
You already
get a
had
little
that,
further.
so,
Yeah.
If you do 3 more days would be asking too much, I don't think. I mean, did you say it's gonna be an entire day though, of stuff?
I think it's what we want, and
Several different meetings with different groups throughout the day.
But okay, I see what you're saying.
I think she's gonna be here
She-
all-
she
she's gonna
would
be here all
We
day.
could do other things.
Okay.
But that we would want.
Yeah, that's only 3 more. I think that would be, I would say that would be probably the minimum you would need from start to finish to get it. This is from the beginning of the day until this thing gets ready to roll out, so.
I think we can start with that, and then if we need to amend it or adjust it, we can do that. Okay. Then here's what I'll do next is just, for people who have calendars, I'll send you a calendar hold for that day, because I live and die by my calendar. And then I'll let her know that we would like to involve stakeholders. We will do a committee and a survey, maybe focus groups. We'll start with the 4 days. And then we're holding January 17th. When we come back in December, I think we need to be ready to invite people to be on this committee. So if between now and our December meeting, if y'all can share 3 to 5 names, I'll put them all in a place where we can all see it, and if there's overlaps, okay, and then we can maybe take a look in December and say, okay, here's what we've got. Are there perspectives or people that are missing? Are there things that we need to add and just finalize?
So you want us to text you those names or email you those names, or?
Either way is fine with me, unless y'all prefer to do it a different way.
If you could get names and email addresses, that would be,
Great.
you're gonna need that when you invite them, right? So,
Sure. We'll shore that up in December, just make sure we have contact for everybody.
speaking of December, the 16th is the third Monday. I know typically in the past, the board meeting in December has been like the Friday that we get out for the holiday, which is the 20th. I'm not opposed to doing that, or the 16th, keep it like it is on a Monday night. It's fine with me. It's just whatever works best for y'all.
What would be the Friday?
Monday.
Friday at lunch, at the day that
Would be that?
I'm ready to go. I'm gonna be ready to get out of here.
What happened in the past with Jerry is we had our meeting Friday at lunchtime, and then after lunch, we all ate lunch. But we didn't sit around and eat along. It wasn't like a big, very formal thing.
We can do that. I mean,
We can also have a meal on Monday night. There's
Yeah.
nothing against
We can do
it.
that.
There's no policy against it. I personally would rather hold it Monday night and just keep it consistent, but I'm happy to do whatever the group wants to do.
Monday night's out. Monday night's out.
Friday, I'm gonna be at work.
Is that okay with you, Tom?
I'm good with December 16th, at 6.
okay.
Thanks, y'all. Anything else? Anything I missed or y'all want to add?
I was
about
looking
that
at my
meeting?
notes, because I sent to Randy.
Did y'all thought it was good though?
I thought it was
Yep.
great.
The
Oh, we
slides
talked
are
about
good.
a fact sheet, which I guess we'll talk about
Oh, yeah.
later.
Yeah, she's had lots of good ideas from other districts, so she's in so many different places. It's really helpful.
All that other stuff, we'll talk about later.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Any other board members have anything to add? Not at this time. Superintendent's report? Oh, Joseph, did you have something?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Superintendent's report?
All right, I know you saw on Facebook, Facebook, our cheerleaders got first place this weekend. And they were first in high school pep rally, the grand champions overall pep rally, judge's choice, and star performance from our mascot, Big
Oh,
Blue.
that's awesome.
Let's see, today the elementary kids go on their basketball trip to the Ole Miss women's basketball game for their MAP performance awards. Tomorrow night, the Water Valley Town and Country Garden Club is having an art show down at the elementary school, poetry and sculptures and things like that. That'll be from 5:30 to 7:30.
And that's free to everyone to attend?
I think it's free. Yeah, I think it's free to attend. That's the Scott's. Susan,
Yeah, it's a partnership too between the.
and Jamie.
Dance
So they've
Fair
been,
and-
in building robots. They take like trash and stuff. They found trash and do it. It's really cool. But that'll be from 5:30 to 7:30 tomorrow night. And then Thursday night, it's a Thursday night here. We have Duncan on the stigma of mental health, the home basketball game that we have Thursday night. Before that, it's gonna be before, Dr. Carson? Before. That'll be
Main hall, man.
vendors set up, like not vendors, but different mental health professionals, table set up, kind of just a mental health awareness night at the basketball game. So looking forward to that. And next week is Thanksgiving break. So looking forward to that for sure. That's about all I got.
And we're invited to lunch Wednesday?
Yes, that's right. Lunch Wednesday.
That's the 20th, yes.
It's good, and I'll tell you what, I hurt myself there again. Thanksgiving.
We invited the bus drivers too, because we tend to overlook them.
Yeah, that's great, that's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, they'll appreciate that for sure. Thank you for doing that.
Anything else? So at this time, we need to go into executive session to discuss recommendations and some salary questions. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to consider executive session.
Okay. Sorry, I'm fixing my notes. Now do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion to remain in executive session.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion by saying aye.
You may have heard of us, but you might not know Bank First is a community bank that has no-fee ATM access, interest, and perks earning checking accounts, with online and mobile banking, mortgages for every stage of life, and modern business banking for businesses, small and big. We keep it all together to put you first. Do you bank with us? You should.